All right, ladies and gentlemen, my apologies for the electrical issues, but we are back for Zenith Online Racing Tier 2, round number 6. We are 33% way through the season already, and we are racing at the Hungaroring in Hungary. Now, before I start following the drivers, I'm going to hop in to the ZOR comms party chat. Alright. Back in here now, so if anyone's in game chat, we don't have to hear my beautiful voice. But yeah, welcome back everyone. Glad to be back with the Tier 2 boys on a very fast and very exciting racetrack. Very hard to overtake, so overtaking opportunities are going to be very interesting. Most of Tier 1 was pretty clean, so I'm curious how the Tier 2 boys handle the track. But looking at the timesheets right now, our man in the Aston Martin, Mr. Toblerone, provisional pole, the 1:16.7. Pretty solid time. I'm pretty sure provisional pole in Tier 1 was a 1:15.6. So being only a second down from the top of Tier 1 is pretty solid. And following in his footsteps, Northern Canuck and Hightower, both Mercedes, 2-3 at the moment, followed by the two Ferraris of Vinny Sips and Tilwick, and then Dutch in the Alfa Romeo, Villeneuve in the Williams, Noob plays in the Haas, and a newcomer to the league, I believe, Dr. J in the Red Bull. He will be alongside a veteran of the league, GP Colin. Another returning face, Mr. Ace. Very quick driver. We've definitely missed that man in the league, and setting himself up good here. P3 already. A 1:17.2, only 4,000ths or 400ths off Northern Canucks time. He splits the Mercedes pair. Ginger Beard Man in the other Haas, he sets a 1:18.5, jumps his teammate of New Plays only by a tenth. So lots of time still left on track. GP out on his outlap. Vano has not done a lap, and the championship contender of Soy Loco in the McLaren on his first flying lap with a Red Bull directly in front of him. I do believe that is GP Colin. He's going to want to get out of the way. He does. So as we look at the standings, I do believe the standings are 84 points for Villeneuve of the Williams, and Soy Loco only a point down at 83 in the McLaren. So we will see either a title change or Villeneuve will increase his championship lead. Soy Loco through the final corner. This is going to look like a 1:16. Oh, just a 1:16.9. That puts him P2, a little bit further back from Toblerone. But looking at the timing sheets, that is a much stronger lap than Villeneuve, so maybe looking like Soy's going to have a little bit of a pace advantage early on. From if the timing sheets are correct, we don't know if Villeneuve had maybe a little bit of incidents or anything. But, yeah. Don't count you on the track tonight, Villeneuve. You can't say that, my man. There's points to be had, even if it's not a good track. You know you got to push for as many points as you can. Ooh, Soy on the off lap. Big snap there. But yeah, looking like a strong grid. We were supposed to have 15 drivers, but I do believe that Coxie is having a little bit of issues with his game. Hopefully he can get in here before qualifying is finished, and we'll be able to race. Going to stay on board with our man in the Alpine, Vano, just starting his first flying lap. I'm not sure if he had maybe an issue early on or if he saved those extra pair of soft tires for later in the race. Not a bad strategy, because fresh softs at the end of the race on a track like this, oh man, the pace differential is very high. So we'll stay on board with the number 69 Alpine of Vanno, loving the number choice. As he enters Sector 2 of 28.4, unable to tell how fast he's going in comparison to other of his laps because he has not set a lap yet. GP calling down with a 132.2. He probably had an incident during his lap, so he's definitely going to get a much quicker lap in. I assume guys like Villeneuve and GP are probably going to jump into the top 5, top 6 most likely. I know GP and Villeneuve should definitely be battling with guys like at least Canuck, Soy, Ace. Vanno rounding out the penultimate corner, following a not a super fast, but a pretty relatively fast right-hander. Looks like it's going to be a 118, a 119 for Vanno. He's going to want to improve that more. I'm sure he can. And we're going to jump. Is Tilwick on a lap? Tilwick does look like he's on a lap. Well, I'm not 100% sure. He might be on a warm-up lap. Dr. J appears to have just started a lap. He's a little bit low on ERS though. But we'll stay on board with the new Red Bull driver. You don't use a crazy amount of ERS through here considering how relatively slow the corners are, so even if you start the lap at 60% ERS like Dr. J did, he's probably not going to run out of ERS before the lap ends. But hey, I've been wrong before. How you doing, Mr. Wario? Welcome to the stream, my man. A little bit of a kerfuffle here in front of Dr. J. Not sure what happened there. Looked like an Alpine was off track and a Haas was nearby as well. Hopefully those two guys didn't come into contact. Dr. J is cutting it close with the ERS. You don't want to get to like 10% ERS because it will reset your ERS, I believe. It's a little funky, but Dr. J is look like he's going to have basically the exact amount of ERS that he'll need. And he comes into the pits, does not like the lap that he had. So there will be no improvement for Dr. J. We're going to stay on board with Toblerone, starting his second flying lap. Although it does look like he is backed out of it, so not liking the start of that lap. So he will, I assume, save up that ERS, keep the tires warm, and go for another one. And it does look like both Haas drivers are on a flying lap as well. They seem to be the nearest flying lap drivers. So Gingerbread Man slightly behind his teammate of Noob Plays. Let's see if they can make up any more time. I'm liking the helmet of Noob. I do love the helmets that match the liveries of the teams. I usually tend to do that, so I'm liking that white and red helmet rocking by Noob. Hopefully that helmet gives him a little bit of luck here as he enters Sector 3 at the Hungaroring, down 3 seconds, so not looking like the lap that Noob wants. How about Gingerbread Man? We just missed him getting to the timing sheet, so we're not going to be able to see what kind of time he has right now. It does look like Soy Loco is a little bit further back from them. We'll go on board with him once Gingerbird... I was calling him Gingerbread. It's Gingerbeard Man. That's an even better name. Gingerbeard finishing his lap. Jumps 5/10. That puts him P8. We're going to jump to Soy Loco. Coming through... Oh, he's just starting his lap. Okay. So it looks like he went for a warm-up lap. So Soy is starting his lap. There does seem to be an Alfa Romeo of Dutch who's up on his time according to the timing sheets. He is 6/10. Very good improvement. That puts him P7 just ahead of Dr. J. It does look like we have an Alpine of Vanno. Vanno starting his second flying lap. And it does look like we have Ace Edge comes into the pits. He was not liking the lap that he was putting together. It does look like we have the Williams of Villeneuve. He comes into the pits, not liking the lap he had either. Tilwick about to start his flying lap. We'll stay on board with the Ferrari. What does our man Tilwick have in store for us? Honestly, I'm quite a fan of the of the Ferrari livery that they had at Monza. I wasn't a fan of their racing suits, but the livery is definitely a A+ design. I'm really liking the yellow and extra black, less red. I had noticed on the fin of the car, it kind of looks like a German flag, which, I mean, if they were paying tribute to Schumacher, that would make sense. And Mr. Soy Loco, give yourself a bow for that lap, a 1:16.4 from the McLaren driver. That is provisional pole for him. Go back to Tilwick as he's about to cross the sector time, 5/10 up. That's going to put him ahead of Dr. J, and let's see if he can make up more time on that. Definitely lots of time to make up through these 3 corners that make up Sector 3. Through the final corner, how much power does he get down? Goes a little wide. Looks like it's going to be a 1:17. A 1:17.4 manages to jump Dutch, gaining around 2/10 in that final corner. So that's a very good improvement for Tilwick. Basically jumps him up half the field. And I do believe that everyone else, apart from Vano just finished his lap, it looks like. Oh, he's got damage, so Vano had an incident. His entire wing is gone. Assuming he had an incident with the wall. But he should have... Ooh, he might not have enough time to get back to the pits. That's going to be close. New Plays just started his final flying lap. I think he's the only car on an actual flying lap, so we'll stay on board with the Haas. Why don't we hide the EUI for our man in the Haas? Tell you what, this livery of the Haas compared to last year is definitely a very big improvement. I'm really liking the more black. The Haas livery is way more popping with the white on black instead of the black on white. Oh, and that is an invalidation from New Plays. You saw him go over the curb there. He should have enough time to make up enough ERS. If he slows it down nice, he can definitely go for another run, but unfortunate for Noob. He is, that lap is basically no bueno, so he's basically, you can basically count that as a warm-up lap. He's going to have 70% ERS. That's definitely plenty enough. We've seen drivers with way less than that complete a lap. And it actually, yeah, he has enough time to go for a second warm-up lap. Is he starting it here? I'm not sure, because he looked like he was warming the tires up a little bit, but I don't know. Ooh, big snap for Noob. He's definitely going to lose some time there. Yeah, now it looks like he's backing out of the lap. He's going to get the tires warmed up a little bit now. Smart decision. He'll definitely have plenty of time to go for another run. Dr. J in the Red Bull is up a 10th according to the timing sheets. We'll see how believable that is when he crosses the Sector 3 timing line. But if Dr. J can maybe challenge for BVP 5 in the qualifying run here, Northern Canuck jumps up to a 1:16.7 to P3. Great lap for him. And now Dr. J's actually lost time 2/10 in that Sector 2, so not the sector that he wanted. Can he make up more time? And it looks like he's backing out of the lap, maybe? Looked like he had a relatively slow lap there. Looks like he's not going to gain time. No, he is not. We got plenty of drivers on flying laps here. Hightower just started his Canuck. His qualifying is over, so the highest position he will get is P3 if no one manages to jump him. Toblerone just started his lap as well. He's slightly behind the Mercedes of Hightower. Vinny Sips is about to finish his lap, and I do believe that the McLaren of Soy Loco and the Williams of Villeneuve are about to start their laps. Vinny jumps up 3/10, doesn't manage to get past Northern Canuck, but it does give him a little bit more leeway for drivers not to pass him. Ace Edge calling it pretty close, but he's going to be starting his final flying lap as well. So I do believe the order we want to pay attention to is Hightower. He's about to finish his lap up on the timing. Up 7/10. Hightower jumps P2. A 1:16.5. Amazing lap from the Mercedes driver. But here comes Toblerone. He's up on his time. Will he take back provisional pole? No, he does not. He stays P3, up a 10th. Not good enough. The Red Bull of Dr. J comes home, manages to not improve. And I do believe that the next driver to cross the line is going to be Ginger Beard Man. Does he have anything more in the tank? Can he jump up maybe past Dr. J, past Dutch, past Tilwick, maybe past Ace if he doesn't improve? Through the final corner. Don't go too wide. Great exit. Up 4/10. He only jumps to P9, but does jump Dr. J. Here comes your provisional pole leader. Soy Loco not liking the lap. He invalidated, so his qualifying is over, but it may look... Vinny Sips invalidated as well, it looks like. So the only driver to challenge, and Ace is in as well. Hightower's lap is over already, so Villeneuve is the last driver to cross the line. He has wing damage. So the last 5 or so cars on their flying laps do not improve, and this is your official qualifying order. Soy Loco takes provisional pole by almost 2/10, followed by Hightower in the Mercedes and Toblerone in the Aston Martin, rounding out your top 3. Northern Canuck of the Mercedes goes P4. Vinny Sips P5 in the Ferrari. Ace Edge takes P6. Tilwick P7. Dutch P8. Ginger P9. Dr. J P10. And rounding out the rest of the grid, GP Colin in 11th. Villeneuve in P12. He's going to want to have a big comeback race here. He's going to have to close the gap as much as he can to Soy, so to minimize the amount of points that he loses. And here is your final timing sheet. A pretty big gap between P5 and up. From P1 to P5, only separated by 4/10, but then you drop to P6, 8/10 down. And that kind of evens out from P6 to P9. And then a big gap from P11 to P10, and they kind of get pretty close there. So Soy Loco will be leading the field to green. I do believe that he won last week at Imola. So Soy Loco looking strong on pace here. His championship rival of Villeneuve, not so much, but I'm sure he's going to make up positions as he tries to race through the field. And Hightower and Toblerone will be starting right next to Soy. They're going to try and make some passes on him going into the first corner. It's going to be quite the exciting start. We know how exciting Hungary starts get. Now, we wait for the drivers to get their setups ready. Does look like both of our weekends for Hungary are going to be nice and sunny, no rain. Always like take a look at the tier 2 chat just to see if any of the guys are chatting about anything. For the guys watching in the chat, I don't know if you guys like to do any predictions, but for me, I am going to do some predictions. I think Toblerone is going to jump to P2. Hightower is going to get jumped by his teammate Canuck. And I do believe Soy does have a strong enough pace to win this race. I do believe Villeneuve's going to jump to at least P7. That's my prediction. Doesn't look like his pace is super strong, so hoping that he's still able to make up some positions so he doesn't lose too many points in the title battle that we have right now. How you doing, Hoop? Watching from work, good stuff. Even when you're not racing, you're supporting the boys. Love to see it. Missing you in that other Alpine. But yeah. Yeah, I'd say that's my prediction. I do believe Toblerone's going to get fastest lap. I think penalties are going to play a big factor here, though. Penalties are the track limits are pretty tricky here, so I think people are going to take advantage on other people if they get penalties and they don't, because you can get 3 warnings here very quickly, and then that's 3 seconds down the order. And we should be starting our formation lap very soon. Biga predicting a ace comeback podium into the league. I would not be opposed to that, Biga. We know how fast Ace is. He was in Tier 1 last year, I believe. So maybe he just hasn't raced as much this season, so he's not up to his peak performance yet, but Ace is a very strong and clean driver. Ace got a lot of support. We got another buddy in here, Speedy Bullet, fellow karting buddy. It's all the pressure's on Ace now. He's got everyone supporting him. As our formation lap starts, let's take a look at the goodies. What kind of tire strats do we got? So, from P1 to P4, all starting on the mediums. Vinny Sips starting on the soft, so he's going to want to make up some positions. And then from P6 all the way to P9, mediums once again. Dr. J starting on the hards, GP on the mediums, Villeneuve on the hards, and our 2 back drivers of Noob and Vano starting on the softs. So this may be... I don't think we'll have any formation bugs, Biga, because I do believe that no one got disqualified in quali, unlike me. So, don't think we'll have any issues there. I'm just going to turn down the sound of the cars just a little bit. There we go. That should be a bit better. That's a bit better. But yeah, it could be quite a hectic start at the back, because if Noob and Vano get good starts, Villeneuve and Dr. J may get eaten up on the cold hards. They're definitely going to try and want to warm up those tires as best they can. It's going to be, I mean, I wouldn't say it's hard to defend here. It's a pretty defendable track. So if Villeneuve and Dr. J can stay ahead of the guys, they're only really going to have trouble in the corners. Because the straight's a pretty hard straightaway to actually make passes on, unless they have really good runs. So, yeah. Soy Loco heading into his grid box well ahead of Hightower, and Hightower way ahead of Toblerone, Canuck, and Vinny. Looked like Soy and Hightower really wanted to get that lap underway, which I kind of agree with. I think formation lap, where you basically do almost like a racing lap, is way better for your tires than taking it slow like most drivers do in actual F1, because, warming up tires in this game isn't exactly accurate. Gingerbeard Man disqualifies on the formation lap, but no disqualifications. We're going to stay on board with Soy because the broadcast camera ain't great. 5 lights. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing at Hungary. Ooh, a much better broadcast cam. Soy has a good start. So does Toblerone. Keep it nice and clean through here, gentlemen. No contact through the field. And GP Colin actually had a really rough start. He was P11 when he started. He's down to P14. Villeneuve and Dr. J kind of got eaten up at the start. Villeneuve actually has made up a position, but Dr. J has dropped 2. As we head back to the front of the field, oh, we do have a pass. Dutch makes his way past Vinny. I do like to take a look at the position changes just to see. New plays in the Haas on the soft tire is up 6 positions. That's the kind of start that you want to have on the softs. because that is going to have a big different change on his race. He's not going to get stuck behind as much traffic on the slower tires. Great start for the Haas driver. I'll throw up those tires just so everyone can see it. And there we go, possible race strategies. If you have some softs saved, soft medium is very capable here. Toblerone making a move on Soy Loco into turn 1. Pretty clean pass, no contact. And Toblerone in 1 lap has gone from P3 to P1. His pace looking very strong, and we do have a spin at the back. It is Vano, no damage, so he can keep going. Soy fighting back for that P1, though. Toblerone is not going to get away that easily. Hightower stays P3. Ace Edge is up 1 position on Canuck. So he has moved from P5 to P4, and he's hunting down that second Mercedes. Further down the field, I do believe Tilwick started P6. New plays, as we mentioned earlier, up 6 positions. Vinny has been down a couple of positions. Dutch, I believe, has lost only 1. Villeneuve is up 2. Dr. J has gone down a couple of positions. Ginger Beardman down a couple as well. GP as well. And I do believe Vano started in the final starting position. This is looking like a very good battle in the upcoming race between these two, because Toblerone... Oh, and we have an issue. Hightower looked like he had a moment coming out of the final corner. I do want to see, does that car have damage? No, it doesn't. He managed to avoid the wall. No damage to the Mercedes, but that puts Ace Edge in the final podium position. And he is not far off from Soy Loco and Toblerone. DRS is going to play a big factor here, I believe. Close battles to watch. Noob plays is being pressured by Dutch, who's not far behind. Further back in the field, GP has gotten past. Vinny Sips actually had a moment I didn't realize. He's now down to P14. He may have had a spin that I did not catch. But now he is racing Vano for the final position. Villeneuve up to P9 from P12. So a good start for him on the hard tire. So he is going to be on the faster tire later in the race. So a strong start from him. He's definitely going to want to try and battle his way into at least the top 5 positions. Soy Loco dropping back a bit from Toblerone. Almost a second back now. He is going to have DRS, so he will be able to defend himself against Ace Edge. Canuck just in DRS of the AlphaTauri ahead of him as well. As you can see, you make up around 3/10 on the straightaway with DRS. Oh no! And we catch the spin of Soy Loco. Gets on the power too hard. Don't come on track. There is no ghosting. Oh my goodness. And that was a disastrous rejoining of track for Soy Loco. We were on board with him. Tries to get back on track as soon as he could, and he just drove into the front of Ginger Beardman in the Haas. And that is Ginger Beardman out of the race. Soy Loco, a 5-second time penalty for a severe collision after his unfortunate spin, and he is going to have to enter the pits and get that wing completely changed. That is not what you want to see after starting on pole position. But it may seem bad, but Soy's just got to get his head down now. It is a full course safety car. Yeah, the turn 1 exit is very tricky here. If you're on the power just a bit too much, your car is going around. But Soy's going to have to enter the pit lane, get that wing changed. Yeah, he wanted to get going as fast as he could. I think what Soy tried to do is he tried to slam on the throttle a lot to get the car like spinning, like if he was doing like a drift almost. But the car just drove straight and right into Ginger Beardman. He had nowhere to go. So an unfortunate incident for Ginger. The game did punish Soy on its own for the collision, but I do believe that is going to be an incident for the stewards to look at. So Soy looks like he's going on a new pair of mediums, so he might go for a medium soft for his final strategy. But yeah, the podium positions now: Toblerone P1, Ace Edge P2, Canuck back up to P3, Tilwick P4, Hightower P5, New Plays up 7 positions now to P6, Dutch P7, Villeneuve now up to P8, GP up to P9, Dr. J I believe started P10, Vano up to P11, and of course Soy and Vinny both had their own separate incidents. They will be at the back of the field. Whew, that was yeah, I mean, I don't want to hate on Soy too much. That's just, he was just feeling the pressure there. You have a spin in P2. You want to get the car turned around as quickly as you can, and sometimes you're just not thinking about it. He probably forgot that ghosting wasn't on. The car just went on track. He probably tried to get it spun around, and the car just drove straight on track right into Ginger, who had nowhere to go. But Soy's a great racer. He's a very clean racer, so now he's just got to get his head down, has to try and get as many positions back as he can. He is very quick around this track, as he has shown. So head down for the McLaren driver, and let's see what he can do for the rest of the race. I do want to make sure, what are the official position changes? So yeah, Ace Edge started P6 up to P2. Tilwick started P7 up to P4. New Plays, of course, started P13. He's now up to P6. Hightower's actually down 3 positions, but he did have his little moment. So Hightower's definitely got the pace to make up positions and challenge Tilwick, Canuck, and even Ace Edge. Dutch up 1 position. Villeneuve, strong start for him, up 4. And I mean, of course, Soy down 11, Vinny down 8. So 2 front runners having some rough starts to the race, but we know their pace. So no position is safe around this track and in this tier. I do believe the safety car will be in this lap. We will be going racing at the start of lap 7. And yeah, as we go through the field, looking like a strong day for the Mercedes Constructors Championship if everything stays the same. Red Bull in 9-8. So yeah. An unfortunate day for the Haas drivers, because New Plays had a fantastic start, and Ginger Beardman was not far behind him either, so unfortunate, but we are going back racing this lap. Toblerone will lead the field to green. When will he go? Is he going to go in the middle of the corner to try and catch someone out, or is he going to go when he starts the straight? And it looks like he's off. Ace Edge, not afraid of his antics. Look at Ace Edge making a move on Toblerone. Has the slipstream, probably using the ERS. Is he going to go for a switchback? Oh, Ace Edge. Oh, and my fire alarm is going off. That's not good. Hopefully that's not too disturbing on the stream, but Ace Edge on the rear. Oh, and we have an incident at the back. Vinny Sips and Vano seem to have maybe made some contact. Neither damage on both of them, though. So that's good, but I'm not sure what happened at the back there. And Villeneuve is out! Villeneuve is out of the session. He came out of that flying right-hander, lost the car into the wall, and a VSC is out. Oh, and Vinny speeds under VSC. That is a drive-through penalty for the Ferrari driver, and he actually does have damage. He has left or front right wing damage. I didn't notice that. A terrible start for your penultimate championship rival, and a terrible result for the championship leader of Villeneuve. He mentioned that he wasn't really a fan of the track, and that is him out of the session. He was up to P8. He was having a great start, but it looks like those hards maybe just caught him out after the safety car. And now we are down to just 12 drivers, still under VSC. Ace Edge staying as close as he can. Oh my god, he is right on the tail. Vinny says he got another drive-through penalty. I hope that's just the same one and he didn't get two of them. Ace Edge all over the back of that Aston Martin. He is showing some strong pace here. And like Northern Canuck way further back, 2 seconds back. He is holding off the Ferrari of Tilwick, and the Haas of Noob plays up to P5. That is an 8 position game for Noob. Yeah, everyone has those nights of Villeneuve. I had it last week. I DNF'd on the pit lane wall, so we have those rough days, but we just got to get through them. You've had a fantastic season so far. Everyone's going to have bad luck at one track or two. So head down for next week, and I'm sure you'll come back strong, my man. Ace Edge now falling a little bit back from Toblerone. Toblerone just looking like he's got some really good pace in that Aston Martin. He is really strong through the corners. We've got some really close battles. Soy Loco back up to P7 from P11. Once again, showing his pace. He's going to want to try and get back past Hightower and Noob as quickly as he can. And Soy was able to serve his 5-second penalty in the pit lane when he had to get his car fixed. So Soy Loco, barring any steward decisions from an incident report, he is now racing for these positions. And look at the speed he's able to carry through the corners up to P6 right around Hightower. Chasing down the Haas of Noob plays. Oh, and goes a little wide there. That is probably a warning for the McLaren driver. Going to stay on board with him, see how fast he can maybe make a move around Noob plays in the Haas. A 4-car battle for P5 here. Hightower and GP not far off these two. GP's had a pretty quiet but strong start, up to P8 from P11. Oh, and it looks like Noob may be having some lag issues. He does look like he is. That's going to be, that's probably going to make Soy be a little bit hesitant to try and get past him, but he's going to want to try and get past him as quickly as he can. DRS is active. So if he has, oh, and a really good run from Soy. And it does look like Noob is into the pit lane. He was on really old softs, so he's probably going for either a double pit of mediums and then softs later, or maybe going hards for the rest of the race. But Soy Loco now up to P5, chasing down the Ferrari of Tilwick. He is on fresher tires than basically the entire rest of the grid that he's racing, because he was the only one that pitted. Yeah, the last person to pit was Noob just now, who's down in P11. Noob does go for the mediums, so he probably maybe can take those to the end, but they're going to be screaming. And Vinny Sips has been disqualified from the session for ignoring his drive-through penalty. I'm not sure if he maybe got a double drive-through penalty there, because it did show two... It showed two notifications of him getting one. He got one when the VSC kind of came out, and then he got one when the VSC was kind of ending, so maybe he served his first one and didn't realize he had a second one. Unfortunate for the Ferrari driver, and we're down to 11 drivers. Very differing incidents. Vinny disqualified, Villeneuve a crash on his own, Ginger Beard Man getting caught out by a car trying to come on track. Very differing incidents, but we're down to 11 drivers. Toblerone pulling away from Ace Edge, 2.5 seconds up the road, and Canuck has closed the gap to around a second. Tilwick not far behind, and Soy Loco making up a lot of time. He was down 3.8 seconds a lap ago. He's now down to 2.6. So a clashing of heads may be coming up for the P2 position. 4 very quick drivers are going to be battling for that position very soon from the looks of it. And GP and Dr. J not far behind either. A better day for the Red Bulls so far, P7 and P8. We'll see what their day comes, because they're one of the... I believe they're only the second team who has 2 drivers in the race now. Only the Mercedes of Canuck and Hightower are the other team with 2 drivers racing. They're P3 and P6 respectively. Northern Canuck has fallen a little bit out of DRS range of Ace Edge, around a second and 2/10 back. Tilwick is setting himself up. Maybe he can make a move on Canuck in the coming laps. 7/10 down. Let's see how much time he makes through the DRS zone. He was at 7/10. Gets down to 2/10, so he makes up around 5/10 with the slipstream. So maybe Tilwick running a slightly higher or a slightly lower downforce. And Soy Loco, the Terminator in their mirrors, gained another second on them through that lap. Oh, and we have a caution. Dr. J goes around on that tricky lap 1. Commentator's curse from me, perhaps. He gets the car going on old hards. No damage from the looks of it on that Red Bull. So he could keep going. I'm not sure how the tires are feeling. But he still is net P9. So I think the Red Bull driver is going to keep going. I don't see a reason to pit. But yeah, Vano just entered the pit lane. He's going on to the hards for the rest of the race. Understandable from him. Toblerone has gained. He's now at 3 seconds. Canuck has stayed around the same and lost a 10th or 2 in that lap. Tilwick to a second, and Soy Loco another second eaten in that lap. He is now 7/10 behind the Ferrari driver. And like I said, the Terminator in the mirrors, this McLaren is on rails. Oh, Soy thinking of the move, sticks his nose in, wasn't needed to give space. Tilwick kind of gave it anyway, just in case. I know Sawyer's he's going to want to get by these guys as quickly as he can. He's still, I mean, you got to think you're right. He still thinks the win's on the line. No matter what happens, if a report is made, the report is made. He is still racing to win. And look at him following the Ferrari through that flying left-hander. That McLaren is on a mission. We may see a pass in the upcoming small straight. Oh, Soy going over the bumps there, heavily there. That could have been another warning for the McLaren driver. I wish we were able to check the warnings for the drivers, because it would add a little bit of intensiveness. And Tilwick has actually dropped off from Northern Canuck now, down 1.7 seconds. So Soy is getting held up a little bit here. He's going to want to set himself up here for a pass coming to the DRS straight. Northern Canuck actually has closed the gap to Ace Edge. He is now 6/10 down. But Soy has a really good run. He is going to get by Tilwick way before the braking zone. And that is P4 for the McLaren driver. And now a Mercedes and an AlphaTauri ahead of him. He wants to get those positions back. Now, I think a smart thing for Soy to do here is go a little bit long on these mediums. He's on 9 laps. He can probably take them another 8 or 9. Try and get to lap 21 and maybe go for a longer run on the softs. Because he did go medium. So he does still have to change his tire compound. This is the closest battle on track. Northern Canuck does seem to be gaining a little bit of pace on Ace Edge. Ace Edge now down from Toblerone to 4.5 seconds. So Toblerone is kind of flying away a little bit here. All eyes on these two, though. Ace Edge, you can see a little bit of oversteer there. Not a lot, but that might be those tires starting to lose it a little bit. Canuck way too far back to make a move. He actually hasn't started to gain any time right until the braking point. He barely gained any time through there. Soy Loco a second and 4/10 back from Canuck. Hasn't been able to make up as much time as he was compared to the past 4 laps where he was making a second in that clean air. And we do have a pass. Dutch is into the pit lane. He puts on new softs, so maybe Dutch going for a medium soft move. Not a bad decision. But now he is down to P10. Dr. J back up. Actually, Dr. J, yeah, he was P10, went to P9. He got passed, I believe, by Noob, who's on very fresh mediums. And we jump to Canuck. Canuck's still in that 5/10 range. Is he going to be able to get a good run on Ace? They might actually come in this lap. I think this is around the pit time. Will any of them come in? Negative. And Soy Loco has gained DRS now. He is 8/10 back. Canuck 5/10 down. He's still not gaining any time though, so he might be saving. Oh yeah, Ace Edge has been using his ERS. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, he's at 10%. That is not what you want to see. Canuck at 70%. He's been playing the long game here. He has been making Ace Edge use that ERS. So when he gets by Ace through the DRS straight, he's not going to let Ace come back at him because he's going to have no ERS to use. And Soy's actually dropped out of DRS, but he comes back a little bit. The times fluctuate a lot. It does seem like these drivers have their own sectors where they're quite good. Like, it does look like Northern Canuck and Ace have a little bit of an advantage on Soy right now, where Soy makes up a little bit more time in Sector 3, I've noticed. Like, if you look, Soy was down a second and 2/10 in Sector 2, and now all of a sudden he's 8/10 up. And Dutch, 3-second time penalty. Our first time penalty, actually, for track limits, so track limit's not as big as I thought it was maybe going to be. The drivers have behaved themselves pretty well. And here we go. Canuck is going to go for the move, maybe? No, he's still saving it. I thought he would have went for a move there, but I guess not. And Noob plays a 3-second time penalty for him. That's going to hurt him because he was having a really strong start to the race. He's not going to want that. But he is still pretty far away from the nearest driver. 16 seconds back of GP, but all the drivers in front of him haven't pitted apart from Soy. And Dutch, fastest lap of the race on those softs, a 1:19.9. And look how close Canuck is, and look how close Soy is. Ace Edge is feeling the pressure. Tilwick is not that far behind either. Canuck's going to want to get as close as he can. Ooh, Soy maybe looked like he went off track there, but maybe not. It looked like he did. But I think this is Canuck's opportunity here. He's got to get a good run on Ace. He's as close as he's been. Get a good run. Turn on the overtake. DRS. Here we go. He's not even going to try for the slipstream. He's used 30% ERS trying to get the pass done. Oh, and he overshoots the corner, and that is going to allow Soy to come at him now. And Northern Canuck did not get DRS on that straight. Or he forgot to open it. Not sure. But Soy makes up on Northern Canuck's mistake as he timed it perfectly to go around Ace, but Ace just seems to have some pretty solid straight line speed. And now Soy's going to have a go at the AlphaTauri driver. Soy's tires are definitely going to help him here, though. 13 lap mediums compared to 17. Doesn't seem like a lot, but that is a pretty big gap. Those mediums are probably not having a very good time right now. And I do expect our leaders to come in relatively soon, probably for a soft run at the end. We are halfway through the race. Exactly. Oh, and Ace has a big snap. Canuck is in. He's going for the undertake, or the undercut. Soy Loco is going for a move on Ace Edge. Canuck gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Soy Loco around the outside. Ace gives him the edge. So close. Don't touch. And that is Soy up a position. I didn't realize Toblerone actually pitted that lap as well. Toblerone and Canuck pit, but unfortunate for Canuck, he gets a 5-second time penalty, and he actually puts on the hard tire. Same for Toblerone. So it does seem that they went for the harder compound for the rest of the race when they went longer on the mediums. If they were going to go hard, they probably should have pitted a couple of laps ago. I think it sets up drivers like Soy and Ace and Tilwick very good here, because if they can hold those mediums for a little bit longer, Soy definitely should. He's got 4 laps difference. But if Ace and Tilwick and Hightower can hold those mediums for just like maybe another 2-3 laps, they're going to be on very quick soft tires for the end of the race. And oh, and you can see Ace, yeah, those tires are done. He's coming in. Can he go 15 laps on softs, or is he going to throw on the hards? He is well under the speed limit. I think Soy is going to go to maybe lap 22, 23, throw on the softs, and try and challenge Toblerone for the win of the race. Hightower is staying out as well. GP as well. Ace Edge is in. Tilwick is in. Dutch is not going to jump either of them. This is disastrous for Northern Canuck, though. 5-second time penalty is going to hurt him having a chance of making up more positions. If he did have the speed limit lane glitch, maybe he can get that removed. I'm not 100% sure. And Tilwick and Ace Edge. Tilwick under pressure from Dutch, who's on soft tires that are definitely older, but they're warmed up to the track temperature. But I think Tilwick is going to be able to stay ahead. I do expect Hightower and GP to come in within a lap or two. Soy probably going to come in a bit later, probably around lap 22 or 23. Throw on softs for 11 or 12 laps for the end of the race. Toblerone is all over the back of GP. That is a big tire difference. 1 lap old hards to 20 lap old mediums. But GP is challenging. He's not letting Toblerone get by super easy. But Toblerone does make the move. Had to use a pretty good amount of ERS though. But he is past the Red Bull. Canuck around 4 seconds back of that pair, and Ace Edge not too far behind. Ace Edge did go for the soft strategy, so he's going to have some very quick tires. I'm curious if he's going to be able to maybe make up a gap to Toblerone. Their gap, looking at it, is around 5.5 seconds. So I am curious to see what Ace Edge's speed is, but I think it's going to come down to the 2 fastest drivers in qualifying, Soy Loco and Toblerone. When Soy goes in, he's going to have around a 10-second gap, and Northern Canuck actually... Oh, they both got around GP, it looks like. GP's tires, they seem to be dying a little bit. And Ace Edge actually makes a move into the very short second final straightaway. He is up on Canuck. Gets that pass done way before the DRS zone. And now we see the gap from Ace to Toblerone. 5 seconds. Splits those two. Ace Edge, fastest lap of the race. I believe Dutch had it with a 1:19.9, a 5/10 difference. Can the AlphaTauri make up enough time to maybe catch the Aston Martin of Toblerone? We will have to wait and see. GP is in. He just put on fresh softs. So he's going to try and chase down guys like Noob and Dutch to maybe get P7. Dutch with a big slide there. Hightower has been taking those mediums pretty long. I think he's going to come in this lap. Soy's probably going to come in around a lap or two. We have a yellow flag that is Vano. He just seems to be going a bit slow. So no issue there. Will Soy make his pit stop? Because he is losing time to Toblerone. And he is coming into the pit lane. Soy Loco going to the softs. He's going to have softs for 13 laps. Does not speed in the pit lane. Hightower's in as well. Toblerone will take the lead of the race. Will Soy have a big enough tire advantage and a good enough gap to catch? Ace Edge is now down to 3.9 seconds. Canuck not far behind. Soy Loco comes back on track. Importantly, stays ahead of Tilwick. Soy Loco has around a 12-second gap to Toblerone to make up in 12 laps. Soy Loco is going to have to make up around a second every lap to catch the Aston Martin. Does he have the pace? I think he does. He's on the way better tire strategy right now. Those softs are going to go very strongly to the end of the race. So we will see what kind of stuff Soy Loco has in the tank. Our nearest competitor to Toblerone is Ace Edge in the AlphaTauri. 3 seconds back now. They are basically on equal pits. Ace did pit a lap later. And we do have a yellow flag that is Vano going around on the tricky turn 1. Car is still going though. Oh, never mind. He lost his front wing completely. That is going to cost... Oh, and a VSC for that. So that is actually going to hurt Soy a lot. Because that is basically... It's going to be around half a lap, maybe a lap of everyone going their delta speed. Which is 1 lap that Soy is not going to get back. Hightower Tilwick takes advantage of the VSC and puts on a new pair of medium tires. Maybe going to try and chase down the Mercedes of Hightower. Everyone following their deltas. Ace is actually relatively behind Toblerone now. Oh, big snap by Ace Edge there. Ace Edge was around 3 seconds near Toblerone. He's down to 4.2 now. So I'm not sure what happened with their deltas when the VSC came out, but VSC is ending, and Ace Edge is back to 3 seconds. Canuck around 4 seconds, 5 seconds back of the AlphaTauri, and Soy Loco is 4 seconds back of Canuck. Let me turn on the leader. There we go. That will give us a good picture of the gap and the pace that Soy makes up on Toblerone through the lap. So, lap 25 for Soy, 11.5 seconds back. 11 laps to go. Ace Edge is around 3 seconds. I think around lap 8 or 9, those softs and hards are going to be equal on pace. Vano does let The Mercedes of Canuck by. So he does get a purple sector 1 there. Up to 11.1 seconds. Down to 11, 10.9, 10.8. This is the kind of pace that Soy is going to want to have. .6. A little bit of snap for Soy. Doesn't lose a lot of time. As we mentioned, Soy needs to make up a second a lap to even have a chance of catching Toblerone. He has made up 1.2, 1.4 on that lap. Soy, fastest lap of the race, a 1:18.9. Jumped Ace Edge's time, I believe, around 3/10. Canuck is falling relatively far back from Ace. Ace has made up around 5/10 on Toblerone. He's now down to 2.4 from 3.2 the last time we checked. So, oh, and Ace goes wide there. I'm not sure if the game gave him a warning for that or not. We can assume that Ace Edge is pushing his life here. Has had a fantastic comeback to the league in P2, chasing down Toblerone, who has shown to be probably the fastest man on track today. But I do believe that maybe his strategy will hurt him at the end of the race, because he went 18 laps on mediums and then switched to hards. If he went another couple of laps, he probably could have went to the softs, which I think is the fastest strategy. And look at the gap that Soy made that lap. He was 10 seconds back. Voice crack. Of Toblerone, and now he's at 8.2. Probably going to be 8 when he comes around this corner. And he has got DRS. Soy sets another fastest lap of the race. Not by much, though. I think he gained a couple hundredths on his previous fastest lap. But Soy is not going to want to get held up by Canuck here. He needs all the lap he can get to try and get by. Oh, what a move by Soy. I don't think it might have had contact there. It doesn't look like they had contact through the stream. But that has cost Soy valuable time. Now back to 9 seconds. As we mentioned, he does not want to get caught up by Canuck. Now down to 9.4. Time is ticking for the McLaren driver. He needs to get by either this upcoming straight or the pit lane straight. Ace Edge has now dropped to 3 seconds gap. Once again, I think those softs are starting to lose out a little bit, and those hards are coming into their own. And Soy is back to 9.5 seconds back of Toblerone, but he's going to get DRS. He's going to use ERS on Canuck. I don't think Canuck's going to defend this too much with his 5-second time penalty. He doesn't. And Soy back to 8.5 seconds now. He's going to have double DRS helping here, so that's going to gain him a little bit more time. He's got 8 laps to try and catch his rival of Toblerone. And I do believe we had a little bit of a spin from Dr. J, but the car is going, no damage. If Dr. J keeps it together, he will hold that final points position. Soy down to 8 seconds. Ace Edge back up on his time, around 2.4 back of Toblerone. I think what Ace is hoping for is maybe Toblerone has a little bit of a moment where he's maybe can get into the DRS range of that Aston Martin. It's gonna be a tough ask. Soy down to 7.8 seconds. He's making up a lot of time, but I think his biggest hurdle is gonna have to get by Ace. Ace Edge has been using a lot of his battery trying to make up the gap to Toblerone, but it's been equalizing to 2.5 seconds for a lot of the race so far. I mean, Toblerone has been saving the ERS 65%. So even if Soy manages to catch the two drivers ahead of him, he's at a disadvantage with the ERS, but I mean, he's got to make something happen. Looking at those softs, though, it doesn't look like Soy's making up a crazy amount of time anymore. So it may be too little too late for Soy. Ace Edge still hovering around that 2.5 second mark. And I mean, that's really the closest battle to watch. Everyone's pretty separated by a good amount. Ace is still hovering around that 2.5 second mark. We got 6 laps to go. And we will stay on board for Soy for a flying lap here, as he attempts to catch the AlphaTauri of Ace and the Aston Martin of Toblerone. I have been talking with my mic muted for a very long time. That was not great, but yeah, Ace, 3-second time penalty, and he's now shrunk the time interval from Ace to Soy to around a second and 3/10. Soy will not have to pass Ace to get P2. If he gets into that 3-second margin, P2 is his. And Toblerone, all the marbles are on his plate. He's got nothing to worry about. He's got a big gap. Goes wide there, though. He's got no penalty. He's got now a 5.5 second gap from the nearest driver. And with 4 laps closing, Toblerone, all he has to do is bring it home. Soy has now cracked the gap to around 4 seconds. That 3-lap difference between their softs is going to be a big factor on if Soy can catch Ace or not. through the final corner, or penultimate corner, now the final corner. Does seem like Ace's pace is very strong though, but the more laps he puts on those softs, the more they're going to hurt compared to Soy. But Soy is still at 4 seconds now. If anything, Ace is still managing to stay on the same pace as Toblerone, even though those softs are probably not very fun to drive, whereas the hards are probably having a nice stroll. We are down to 2.5 laps to go. Soy is not increasing the gap to Ace. It's now to around 1.3 tenths again. Can take this time to go through the rest of the field. Northern Canuck, P4, 8 seconds ahead of his teammate Hightower in the other Mercedes, but Canuck does have that 5-second time penalty, but he's got a big enough gap to be well ahead of his teammate. Tilwick in the Ferrari, a pretty strong drive from him. Hasn't been able to keep up with the top 5, but a very strong P6 in the works for the Ferrari driver. GP Collin, solid comeback drive for him. He was P12 starting this race. Wasn't looking very good for him, but he's managed to make up 5 positions, so a good recovery drive from him. Dutch, I believe, started around... oh my goodness. We just catch... Oh, and Vano just retired from the session. Goes 33 laps, and unfortunately has an incident on the penultimate corner. That is his race over. But if he was in a points position, he would have gotten the points as he crossed the 90% line. We had Dutch in P8, 6 seconds. Has no issue of getting passed by Noob. Noob had a very strong start to the race. Kind of died off at the end, but that is still P9 for him. Some very good points regardless. And Dr. J, his first race in Tier 2 for ZOR. He's going to take the final points position, regardless of if he crashes out or not. As we head back, look at the gap from Soy to Ace. 3 seconds and 300ths separating P2 and P3. And now it's 2.5 seconds. Ace, those softs I think are starting to die very much. 2.2 seconds, and it doesn't look like Ace is going to be able to hold that 3-second gap to Soy. So unless something miraculous happens for the McLaren driver to lose out on that 3-second gap, looks like he may be able to snatch P2 away from the AlphaTauri, who has had, as we mentioned, a fantastic comeback drive. Or not even comeback drive, just came back to the league. I assume he hasn't raced a whole lot. Comes back into the league, puts himself in Tier 2, and has shown that his pace has not gone anywhere in P2 on track. Unfortunately, that penalty is going to hurt him at the end of the race. It looks like it will cost him his well-deserved second-place finish. But our man in the Aston Martin, Toblerone, it looked like him and Soy were going to have a battle the entire race. Soy had a moment at the start of the race. Toblerone made the move early. Toblerone is the winner of the Hungaroring in the Aston Martin. Ace Edge will get P2 on track. Very deserved little spinnies for Ace. He gets a comeback podium drive. Soy Loco will take P2 due to Ace's penalty. Northern Canuck, very great drive from him. Comes home P4. Hightower, very happy with his result, clearly. He comes home P5. Tilwick crosses the line P6. GP Collin rounding the final corner in the Red Bull. Good recovery drive from him. He gets P7. And a little bit further back, Dutch in the Alfa Romeo will come around the final corner and he will snag P8. Noob just started the Sector 3 final lap for him. Dr. J about to start his final sector of the race. Dutch crosses the line. Noob about to cross the line. And Dr. J rounding the corner to end his race, but Toblerone is your winner. Soy Loco, a fantastic comeback drive from an unfortunate but deserved penalty at the start of the race. And Ace Edge, first race back, podium position for him. Fantastic drive from him. And that is your podium for Hungaroring. Now, I've got to ask those three gentlemen if they want to have some interviews. Do have to add Ace to the party chat. I do believe I have him as a friend. I do not have Ace as a friend. Interesting. Let me go grab him. Let's get Ace Edge added. Beautiful. Now we will add him to the party chat. I will add Northern Canuck if he wants to hop in, since Soy will be unable tonight. Alright, Canucks hopping in as well. Beautiful. Before I start the interviews, gentlemen, great race. Great race. Great comeback race from you, Ace. Love to see it. And we will just wait for Canuck to hop in, and we will start the interview process. All right, Canuck, my man, can you hear me? Good stuff. So, strong result for you. P4. You didn't look like you were far off the pace from guys like Ace, Toblerone, Soy. I do think that maybe the tire strategy may have hurt you at the end. I think maybe you could have gone a couple of more laps on those mediums, and then you could have swapped to the softs and maybe have been able to challenge maybe Soy getting around you, or maybe caught up to Ace. So tell me how your race went. Oh yeah, a little on the hot side. Yeah, and pretty strong constructors tally for you in Hightower, P4 and 5. That's, I think, I mean, apart from Toblerone bringing in 25, I think your team brought in the second most points that race, so Very good constructors pull from you guys as well. Yeah, for sure. And going to P2, Mr. Ace Edge. I'm not 100% sure if you've been doing any league racing apart from ZOR in 2023, but you jump back into the league, you jump back into Tier 2, and you come home P3 on the stat line, but you came home P2 on the track. I'm pretty sure you have zero complaints about that comeback race for you. Tell me how it went, my man. Okay, because I was gonna mention that, I mean, around, I think, lap 33, you had that like second gap for your penalty to keep Soy away from P2, but I thought it was maybe your tires dying like really quickly, but if it was your okay, yeah, that's hmm. And then you yeah, you come back, you have a podium at Hungaroring, you complete 36 laps with no issues. So I'd give myself a pat on the shoulder for that one. Oh, so maybe a track love in the making. Maybe you're going to start appreciating it a little bit more. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, once again, fantastic comeback drive from you. Welcome back to the league, Mr. Ace Edge on the podium. And now to our race winner, Mr. Toblerone. Looking like you were maybe going to have a whole race battle with Soy. Soy has his spin and then his incident, and it just looked like you had no issues after that. It looked like the race was just in the bag. You were clearly, I think, the fastest man on track. I do think the only thing that may have hurt you in the end, if it came to it, was the tire strategy, because you did go pretty long on the mediums. You went to lap, I think, 18, and then pitted, and then you went out to the hards. So I think I mentioned on stream that's like, oh, if he went the extra like 2-3 laps, he could have went to the softs instead and maybe had like zero issues. But still a fantastic race for you. So tell me how it went. Yeah, I saw you mentioned that. It was like, I'm going to crash in the first 3 laps, so don't worry about me, guys. Oh, wow. Okay, so impressive then. Because, well, that, and it's not like Hungary's a very easy track to avoid track limits either. Yeah, I mean, you got him, what, lap 1, lap 2? Start of lap 2? Yeah, okay, so... Yeah, it didn't. You had a really good start because you started P3. You didn't start P2, right? Hightower got P2. Yeah, so you jumped Hightower right away, and you were already on Soy. So I think you definitely the tires were like, all right, let's do this. We're good to go. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah, you were just like, all right, let me cook a little bit. Yeah, so you just weren't feeling them. That's all right. Yeah, that's fair. For sure. Yeah, you took like I said, you took the safe option, which is just no shout on you. But like, I'm just mentioning like, oh, if Soy was maybe the second car ahead, and maybe if he didn't get in that battle with Canuck, maybe he would have managed to maybe catch up to the back you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Just take the easy tire. Oh yeah, for sure. It was great racing from everyone. Absolutely. Ace, I mean, I didn't expect it. Ace, yeah, Ace was. That's what I said. Like, because I mentioned it like lap 29. I was like, oh, okay, Ace is like 3.5 seconds back. That's probably gonna equalize about. And then like lap 32, he's at 2.3. So I'm like, oh, okay, maybe Ace is gonna have a little late race push for the win. But then you got the penalty, and then it was just like, all right, let me try and defend against Soy now. But I think your audio. Oh, for sure. I think the great fun and big advantage of being the lower tier is you can just reserve up and not have to really race any of the faster guys and just learn which strategies are best. Which do you like the setup that you have? Do you want to keep it? Do you maybe want to tweak it a little bit? But I think that's like the biggest advantage for you guys. You guys can just hop in, test your strats, and see if you guys like it. So that's for sure. I love that when I was in the lower tier where I could just come in, test it out, not really have to race anyone. I'd race the other tier 2 reserves, but that was about it. But yeah, I mean, to all three of you, fantastic race. Canuck, you had a great drive. Ace, once again, coming back, racing, hadn't even finished many races, and then Toblerone only doing 3 laps of practice. So to all three of you, fantastic race. Everyone drove very cleanly today. And give yourself some pat on the shoulders for that one. Absolutely. So I think coming up, what track do we have next week? Let's take a look. Okay, all right, that's a good track. Bahrain's a nice little track. So that will be the end of Zenith Online Racing Tier 2 at the Hungaroring. Your final podium positions: Toblerone, your race winner; Soy Loco in P2, who was not able to join us for the interviews; Ace Edge P3, and Northern Canuck P4, who joined the interviews. Thank you for that. And we will see you guys next week in Bahrain for round 7. We've crossed the 33% threshold of the season, so season's actually going pretty quick. But yeah, thank you for joining me, and we will see you guys next week.